Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between LiquidRet and Yiptastic. So Yiptastic is the blue Zerg in the bottom left, and we have got Ret as the red Zerg in the top right. So it is a ZvZ because everyone loves a ZvZ. Right? Unless of course you're playing it, nobody likes playing a ZvZ. Apart from those strange people, you know, the type of people who are into peculiar things, like they enjoy getting a blood test or going to the dentist, something like that. Those are the sort of people who like ZvZ. But I mean, to watch, it's fantastic. I mean, everyone likes watching people suffer, and most people do feel like they're suffering playing ZvZ, so let's watch it, let's laugh, and let's enjoy. But more to the point, those of you who tune into my cast regularly will have seen that I had an overlay up on my last two casts. That was really just trying something out, because obviously I am commentating for GameReplays.org, and I mean, that was just their artists doing something. They basically from your feedback, which was great. I wasn't too sure on it, but obviously because you guys said as well, we're going to rework that, try and make it look nicer, just really to get look awesome basically. So looking forward to that. In the meantime, it's back to the standard UI. Now we have got Rek going for a extractor first, and quite an early extractor actually, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. Meanwhile, Yiptastic, he's not getting anything. He's already up to 15. He may actually try and go hatch first, which is doable. Obviously you can hold a hatch first build in ZvZ, absolutely fine to do, and it looks like, isn't he? He's already up to 16 drones, so that is actually quite late. And there goes the hatch straight away, so it is a hatch first, and quite a late hatch first as well. He went 16 hatch, which is pretty late actually, so quite brave of him there. Meanwhile, Red has just, well, he built his spawning pool a little while ago, so he is getting that gas up as well, so we could be seeing a very, very early speed out of him. It'll be interesting to see whether he pulls guys from gas, because obviously if he does, then it means he's just gonna kind of get those minerals up to get an expansion, or just a lot of Zerglings, whereas if he doesn't, then it means Banelings, and everybody loves Banelings. Yeah. Anyway, so Yiptastic, his expansion's about half done now, but obviously Red has just about finished his pool, and if you look, I mean, only about a third done for Yip there, so he could have a lot of problems coming up, and all the guys have been pulled from gas. I mean, Red nearly perfectly on the 100 gas needed for speed, so speed is obviously coming out. 4 Zerglings, Queen on the way as well, but no expansion, so if Yip holds this, he's going to be in a good spot, as long as he doesn't lose too much to the early aggression. But obviously he's got his gas up now as well, just mining away and getting up that spawning pool. That spawning pool is about to finish, and how would he react? Because obviously there are these 4 Zerglings, would have been spotted by this Overlord. Ret now just getting his base down as well, but obviously Yip's is finished as Ret is starting his own. Yip getting a very, very early Baneling nest now, and just those 4 Zerglings obviously will be able to deal with the 4 coming in from Ret here as well, and obviously getting the double Queen out as well, so Yip should be fine. I mean, those Zerglings won't be able to pick off too much, and I mean, if anything at all, so to be honest, Yip should be fine, should be able to hold this. Ret now just needs to drone it up, and obviously Yip's going to get those roaches out, which will help him deal with any Banelings, but obviously no sign of Banelings yet for Ret. And if we take a look down here, Ret is just going to have to pull back, or just do a little dance. It's a Zergling dance, it's lovely. It's quite a beautiful thing in my opinion, sort of like ballet, except with space monsters, but it's all good. Anyway, Ret's expansion is about 3/4 done now, and he is getting down his Baneling nest. Now, this could be a bit of a problem for Ret here, purely because he doesn't know yet that this Roach is down, because he hasn't got those Zerglings in. Now, obviously Banelings, brilliant against Zerglings, but not so great against Roaches, because obviously Roaches are armoured, so don't take bonus damage, and they have a lot of health points anyway, so Roaches actually nullify Banelings quite a lot, so Ret won't be able to have a very cost-effective engagement with Ling Bling against Roaches, so be interesting to see how he does. Obviously Ret's expansion just finished now, that Baneling nest finishing up, only 2 harvesters in gas, which is enough to get some Banelings out, and Red is still poking out, and now I'm sure Red hadn't scouted inside at all, so he does now obviously know the Roaches are there because he saw them with the Zerglings, but I mean that's quite late, and his Baneling nest is already done. He's getting a spine out, and that's really for defensive reasons. Red now needs to drone like mad. Obviously though, Yip, he doesn't even have out his speed yet for his Zerglings, and he's just getting Roaches, and a lot of Roaches are very, very good against most things. If we take a look at the drone count, it is 29 to 32 in favour of Yip, so quite unusual for Ret to be behind in drones. obviously he drones very, very heavily, but actually Ret getting a lot of Zerglings out very, very quickly. So I mean, that is a good counter to Roaches. I mean, if you get a lot of Zerglings, Roaches simply can't deal with them until they get up into high numbers. I mean, you need a ball of Roaches to deal with a ball of Zerglings. Whereas, if the Zerglings outnumber the Roaches, and they get a surround, then, I mean, they go through them very, very quickly. So Ret could actually be in a good spot. Just poking those Zerglings forward, just getting a count on the number of Roaches there to see if it is viable. And 20 more Zerglings coming out for Ret. Ret already up to 25, so Ret's going to be putting a lot of pressure on, and hasn't actually started moving them out yet, just massing them all up here, just trying to hide it, and it does look like Yip is going to move out. Now, this could be a problem, because obviously, I mean, Ret's just got so many Zerglings there that he could do a lot of damage. One Zergling does get in there for Ret, will get scouted around, the Queen should be able to pick it off. Meanwhile, Ret's Overlord positioning absolutely great, but so is Yip's, but Yip has no idea this is up here at all. So, obviously he has no idea. A lot of Banelings, 11 Banelings on the way now for Ret, and this army for Yip is pretty much going to get destroyed. And that could be really, really bad. Being followed up with a lot of Zerglings though behind it, so obviously the Baneling hits need to be spot on, and it looks like all the Banelings are just going to go off on the Roaches, and now some big engagements there. In come the Zerglings for Ret as well, and some Banelings being morphed in there for Yip, but if they finish they can do huge damage, because there are only Zerglings left for Ret now, and they do finish. Huge hits go off there, and Ret is not in a good spot now. If we look at the loss tab, Ret is about 400 minerals behind in terms of resources lost, so that's quite a large amount. Meanwhile, just a couple of Banelings for Ret there as well, and Ret has held it at the moment, but look at the drone count. I mean, in favour of Yip, and has been for a while. And how is Yip going to react to this? Because a lot of Zerglings are coming back down for a counterattack by Ret, but here are some Banelings. Ret has to be really careful. A couple of big Baneling hits have already gone off, and I mean, just some Zergling and Baneling micro going on here, and it's all very, very careful. Big hit does go off there. One Zergling for a Baneling up there, and I mean, this is just so close. This is what's really intense, and oh, that was so close to another Baneling hit, and Ret just pulling back, and I mean, he's moving forward. Oh, he's got to be so careful with that Baneling. If that Baneling goes off on a lot of Zerglings, he's got a lot of problems. Yip, though, having to get loads of units. If you look at the production tab, 16 Zerglings and 5 Roaches. Meanwhile, Ret was just droning behind this. So if we take a look, now 38 drones to 28. Ret has suddenly taken a massive lead in terms of drone count. That was a huge Baneling hit goes off. So many Zerglings taken down, and Ret has to be careful now, and nearly got a nice Baneling hit off, but it does force Yip back at the moment. So very, very nicely done. Ret even trying to take his third base now. If you look at the resources tab in resources in the top right, you will see that there are a lot of excess minerals for Yip at the moment, so he really needs to deal with those. Ret, on the other hand, is just getting this third base down because he had enough money to do so, but he has to be careful not to overcommit to that third base, otherwise he could get a lot of problems. Yip, meanwhile, is taking his, I believe that is 4th gas, and Ret, meanwhile, is still just sitting on 2, getting his 3rd now, so Ret is going a lot more mineral heavy build, not getting too much gas, and I mean, that third base, if he keeps it up, will really turn the tide. Neither player actually seems to be getting any upgrades yet. Ah, there we go. No, so +1 is actually on the way for Ret, but it's only just started. It's +1 missile attack. Meanwhile, Yip has no upgrade. So again, if Yip lets this game go on too much longer, he's going to have an upgrade disadvantage, he's going to have a base disadvantage, and obviously both of those are key factors in the mid-game in terms of how well you're going to do. So although the food count looks like it's in favour of Yip, I mean, look at the roach count numbers. There are 19 roaches to 6. Now, roaches take up a lot of food for what they do, so obviously that's quite misleading. Ret's in a great spot. I mean, obviously the work count says it all, 45 to 27. Ret needs to start building some units though, because this is quite a scary push coming in. Quite a lot of roaches. What has Ret got to defend? I mean, a handful of roaches here for a start, 2 banelings and some zerglings. Ret needs to build stuff, and he needs to build it urgently. Moving this spine crawler over now, getting an extra gas as well, Ret there, and a lot of roaches are on the way out, and +1 hasn't finished, and it's not going to finish in time for this either. A couple of roaches do get a couple of hits off, but I mean, nothing too much going on here. Ret really needs some more units ever so badly, trying to pull back, and Ret's actually going for this engagement, but a whole wave of zerglings come flooding in from behind, and I mean, I don't think Ret has enough stuff to deal with this. I mean, he's got a good engagement going on, but I mean, there's just so much stuff there for Yip, I mean, Yips is following this up with more roaches. I mean, this is pretty all-inish from Yip. He's got to win here, otherwise he's got a lot of problems. But to be honest, Red has got nothing to deal with this. There's just so many units. +1 missile attack is about to finish for Red. That third base is all but gone, and Yip is now just pushing forward with those Zerglings and roaches. Obviously, the Zerglings do soak up quite a few hits from the roaches, and Red even pulling the drones out now, but just so much stuff coming out for Yip here. I mean, I just don't think Red has enough stuff to deal with this right now, and I just don't know what he's going to do. The +1 missile attack is of course finished, and wow, no, Yip has definitely cleaned this up, and Red is not in a good spot at all. I don't actually think he can do anything, and there is the GG, so very well played there by Yip. And I mean, it just shows that if you just go and kill them, it doesn't matter how much they drone. So very, very good game. I hope you did enjoy. Please subscribe if you enjoyed my videos, and follow me on Twitter, and like the video obviously. So thank you very much. Tune in again. Bye for now.